So you've been told that if you find your purpose, that is when you will be the wealthiest you've ever been. Well, what if I told you that that was wrong? That what you need to do is find your passion, your joy, your childlike essence that leads you to your purpose. And through that, you end up attracting the abundance. In this episode, I'm going to go over all of the rising signs' fifth house placement. And in your fifth house is where your passion is, your childlike essence. And through that, you start living your life on purpose. And because you're living your life on purpose, the money starts to come in and it starts to flow in with ease. Hey, my name is Celia, and I just want to welcome you to the House of Worth. I've created this system to help you get back to your self-worth by understanding every house in your natal chart and how it pertains to you as the avatar in your game. We are going to go over the fifth house in this segment. But before I get started with the fifth house, I just want to let you know that we are all here with a purpose, but it's not wrapped up in the way that you think it is. And it is through exploration. It is not a one size fits all. And because I don't have your natal chart in front of me, I can only give you the basics of what the houses mean and the zodiac sign, and then maybe throw in a few planets. But other than that, I can't go into the depths of it. So if you're interested in finding out more about your fifth house placement according to your natal chart, go ahead in the comment section, drop your rising sign, your Venus, and your sun sign, and what house your sun is in. And I might just choose you to go into a more in-depth reading about your natal chart. So let's just talk about the fifth house. The fifth house in astrology is the house of self-expression, creativity, play, and romance. It's also the house of children and your childlike essence. It's your inner child. It's the place in your chart where you don't perform. You create. It represents the part of you that existed before responsibility, before survival mode, before you were taught that your value had to be earned. See, that's where we get it twisted when we're trying to figure out what our purpose is. We don't allow ourselves to tap into our childlike essence in order to recognize what our purpose is. And you don't have to be great at everything, because there are things that you do just for the pure pleasure of it. But through the process of exploration of your self-expression, you will start to align with what feels good to you. Because when we feel good, that is when we know that we're following our north node, our north star. So the fifth house asks one question: what lights you up simply because it feels good? Not what pays the bills, not what you're good at, not what is useful, but the thing that makes you feel alive, even if you can't explain it. The truth most people forget. Most of us try to find our purpose by chasing money, overthinking what we are meant to do. How many times have you just said, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my purpose is. I know that I'm meant for more. I know I came here for more, but I just can't figure out what my purpose is. That's what's keeping you stuck. You're forcing clarity, and then you're attaching pressure and productivity to your passion. What your passion is like stepping into your divine feminine essence and getting into the flow of creativity. You don't find your purpose first. You follow your passion, and purpose reveals itself. Joy is not a distraction from your purpose. Joy is the doorway to your purpose. When you are playing experimenting, creating, or expressing for no reason at all, you activate. And what you're activating is your original self, your confidence, your intuition, your natural talents, and your soul gifts. And when you're in the art of play, you remove the pressure of having to find out what your purpose is. This is why the fifth house rules children and childlike play. Children do not create to monetize, they create because it's joyful. And in that joy, they show who they really are. And so if you're walking around feeling like an imposter and you hate your job or you hate what you're doing or you can't find your purpose, it's because you're operating from the wrong avatar. You are an imposter in your life. You're living up to expectations that you learned from your parents, from the media, from school, from your peers, and not who you are authentically. This is where people get confused. They think if I'm passionate about it, it must become a business. If it doesn't make money, it's a waste of time. If I can't monetize it, why bother? This is 100% opposite of the fifth house. The fifth house says pleasure first, clarity second, purpose later. Not everything that lights you up is meant to be work. Not every joy is meant to scale into a career. Some passions are meant to heal you, not employ you. And ironically, when you stop forcing passion to make money, you become magnetic and opportunities find you naturally because you're finally aligned to the real you. So here's what the fifth house awakens in you: the art of your soul, how you flirt with life, what makes you feel confident and alive, how you express your individuality, where you shine without trying, what reconnects you with your truth. It's the house where you remember who you were before you were judged, what you loved before you were told to grow up, how to be guided by joy without fear. This is why it's the most important house for creativity, content creation, personal style, artistic identity, entrepreneurship, romance, your fun, magnetic self. It's your spark. So, how does passion lead to purpose? Purpose is not something you think your way into. When you follow the fifth house passions, you unlock parts of yourself that were dormant. You discover talents you didn't know that you had. You build confidence without trying. You reconnect to your inner child. You stop living for validation. You become your more authentic self and you attract aligned opportunities. Purpose is not what you chase. Purpose is what becomes clear after you've allowed yourself to play. When you experience joy, your nervous system opens. When you play, your creativity activates. When you express, you uncover your gifts. And when you shine, you attract the path that was always meant for you. Purpose finds you when you are too busy loving your life to search for it. That's what we get it wrong because we're always searching for our purpose. The fifth house reminds us you were born to express, not to justify. Joy is not childish. It's a divine intelligence. And the moment you follow what feels good, your purpose will recognize you. So that is what the fifth house is here to help you explore in your chart. See, you have the first 6 houses in your natal chart that are below the horizon, and that's your inner self, your inner world that you are trying your hardest to discover so that you can show up authentically when you engage with houses 7 through 12. When you engage in a relationship with others, you know yourself. See, we're talking about the fifth house, which is about your self expression, so you can find out how you're here to serve. Because the house that follows the fifth is the sixth house. And the sixth house is how you're here to serve your habits and your co-workers. So if you don't know your self-expression, when you go to serve others, you're going to serve others from your subconscious beliefs. the things that you don't align with, but you've been programmed to believe that that's how you're supposed to show up. And your sixth house placement also has some characteristics in there that we'll go into in the next episode. But in this episode, I really want to help you find your self expression, figure out what those subconscious beliefs that you have that are blocking you from the fullest expression of yourself so that you can live intentionally. Because when we live with intention, we feel like we have purpose, and we have to get there through our passions. And like I said, not everything is meant to be work. You have to have a balance of play. So just because it makes you feel good and you enjoy doing it, it doesn't always have to turn into a business. But you will start receiving synchronicities and opportunities from those passions that will start guiding you to what you're here to do, what your true purpose is. This is about having a relationship with your inner child. Because of shame, guilt, trauma, and things that we've experienced, we detach from our authentic self. Our inner child is always screaming for us to please listen because we're here to guide you. But when you're operating from your wounds, you're operating from the wounded inner child and not your higher self. And so when you do the inner work, when you go through the process of self-awareness and recognizing what you have on repeat, that is when you can start living more intentionally. So let's get into the houses. Now, if you've watched the other episodes, you know that I choose a room in the house to give you a visual of the character of that zodiac sign that's in that house. The aesthetic might not match with what you would like because your rising sign is your aesthetic with your Venus placement. But I am showing you the character through play and through visuals with the room in your house. And the room that I'm choosing in this episode is an art studio, a creative room. I know before you come at me and say, I don't have the option to have an art room. I don't have an art room either, but it is just a visual, and it's how I correlate the fifth house. It's the room of creativity, whether it is just a space on your dining room table where you scrapbook or where you take out paint and you paint a picture. But when I decided to choose a room in your house, it was to show you the visual of the playfulness of that character that is, there in your fifth house. Now, also remember that you have a ruling planet for your fifth house. So, for instance, I'm a Gemini fifth house. So, my ruler is Mercury. Now, once you know what your ruling planet is, you want to look and see where that planet is in your chart. I happen to have Mercury in the eighth house. That gives you a little bit more information of your passion and how you want to play. And then also, you want to take a look at your sun sign. Why your sun sign? Because the fifth house natural placement is Leo. And the ruling planet of Leo is the sun. It is your I am. So find those placements. Your sun, the ruling planet of the zodiac sign that rules your fifth house. And also take a look at the house that your sun is in and your ruling planet is in, because all of those have more detail and description to your passions and your purpose and how you see the world and how you put things together. So I'll use myself as an example. I have Gemini in my fifth house. I have my North Node in the 29th degree of my fifth house. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in my eighth house. I am a Leo sun. I have Leo in the seventh house. So I relate with creativity and finding your self-worth and expressing yourself in order to show up and shine, okay? So let's get into all of the 12 zodiac signs. I'm going to begin with Aries. Aries in the fifth house is the warrior child. And this is the image here of a art studio, which this is more of a workout studio, creative studio for Aries, because Aries has a lot of energy. And the more that they express their energy, the more creative they become. So their light aspect, Aries' light aspect is bold, energetic, energetic expression, passion through action, risk, adventure, performance, and physical creation. The shadow part of an Aries fifth house is impatience, fear of looking foolish, quitting too soon, and needing to win at creativity, which really takes the fun out of it. Because if you are comparing yourself and being competitive with creativity, I mean, what fun is that, right? So the subconscious belief for an Aries in the fifth house is if I'm not instantly good at it, it means I'm not meant for it. So Aries have a way of giving up on their creativity, their creative self-expression, because they think they're not good at it, but it comes naturally. Your childlike essence, you learn by doing. You discover joy through spontaneity and combustion. So it is that spurt of energy, like when you're working out and you're high, you've got that high dopamine. That is when you start getting your most creative entrepreneurial ideas. Your sun helps by teaching you how to hold identity steady even when trying new things. Your sun house shows you where you must act boldly to feel alive. Your ruling planet, which is Mars, and then you have to look at where you have Mars in your chart and the house. It shows where your creative fire is directed and what fuels your passion. How you can become more of your expression is to start before you're ready. Movement unlocks magic for you. Taurus in the fifth house is the earth artist. Here is the image of Taurus in the fifth house. And your light is sensual creativity, beauty, music, gardening, craftsmanship, slow and soulful expression. Your shadow is perfectionism and fear of being judged, getting stuck before starting. Because remember, Taurus is a fixed sign. So if you don't believe that it's good enough, you're going to hold yourself back. Now, the subconscious belief for a Taurus fifth house is art only matters if it's flawless. And your childlike essence, you build beauty at a gentle pace. Joy comes from touch, texture, and the senses. And your sun helps by grounding you in self-worth. So you don't seek validation through perfection. Your sun house shows where you naturally create stability and pleasure. Your ruling planet, which is Venus, you want to look and see where you have Venus in your chart, the zodiac and the house, is it explains what you find beautiful and how you attract creative fulfillment. And how you become more of your expression is to let yourself enjoy the process, not the product. All right, so if you are a Gemini in the fifth house, you're the curious creator. This is the creative room in your house, your art studio, that best describes a Gemini's personality. So your light is storytelling, writing, content creation, teaching, communication, and endless ideas. Your shadow is your scattered energy, your self-doubt, and the fear of not being taken seriously. All right, so your subconscious belief is if I don't sound smart, I'll be dismissed. And your childlike essence is your joy is in connection, conversation, and playfulness. Your sun helps by giving you confidence to speak your truth. Your sun house shows where your voice needs to be heard. And your ruling planet is Mercury. And whatever house it's in and whatever sign will give you a little bit more description and detail of what you're supposed to be doing in the fifth house. So this shows your communication style and how your creativity flows mentally. And then how you become more of your expression is to share the idea while it's still fresh. Don't over edit your magic. So I was saying that I do have a fifth house Gemini, and I'm so worried that I'm going to forget something as I do these videos. So I have written a script for me, and I want to be able to just remember everything, but sometimes my brain doesn't work that way. So I am learning through the process of having a North Node in Gemini, which is a critical degree of 29. I'm learning how to let go and just be more playful. But it's important to me that I don't forget all of the details. So this is kind of the shadowy side of me in real time. Now, if you are a Cancer in the fifth house, you're the emotional artist. And right here is the image of your art studio in your home that best describes a Cancer energy as a creative expression. Your light is emotional expression, intuitive creativity, home centered art, and nurturing gifts. Your shadow is fear of vulnerability, emotional overwhelm, and hiding from visibility. Your subconscious belief is my feelings are too much for others. So, because you are in tune with your emotions, that is your intuition speaking to you. Sometimes you might be accused of being too emotional. And so you learn how to shut that down. Your childlike essence is you create from the heart, memories, nostalgia, family, and emotions. That's your childlike essence. So sometimes you might get too stuck in the past and reminisce. So you got to make sure that while you're creating that you don't get melancholy. Your sun helps by teaching you that emotional honesty is a strength. Your sun house shows where you're meant to nurture or be nurtured. Your ruling planet is the moon. So wherever you have your moon and wherever the zodiac sign or the house is going to tell you more about your creative expression. Also, how you are becoming more of your expression is by making what feels real, not what feels safe. Because cancers have a way of always wanting to protect themselves, stay in their shell like a crab. And so letting go sometimes will help you with your creative expression. Now, if you have a Leo in the fifth house is you are at home. That's the natural placement for Leo. So you're called the golden child. And here is your creative studio in your home, your art studio. So your light is performance, drama, fashion, leadership, charisma, and radiant expression. Your shadow is fear of rejection, pressure to shine, perfectionism disguised as confidence. And your subconscious belief is if I'm not amazing, I shouldn't show myself at all. So you get really caught up in recognition. And if you don't get recognized, then it really just ruins everything for you. So you have to learn to balance your ego when it comes to your performance and your self expression. Your childlike essence is joy through play, attention, creativity, and being the center in a healthy way. So you as a child, you might have been the one is like, look at me, let me perform. And so if you had a parent, or you've had friends, or in school, or a teacher or somebody that tried to shut you down because they made you feel like you were being disruptive, like you were asking for too much attention. You might have that fear of rejection. Your sun helps by amplifying your natural light. Your sun house shows the stage of life where you shine the brightest. So take a look and find where your sun sign is, in what zodiac and what house. And then also look at your ruling planet, which is the sun. So it will be the same for you. And this is the core of your identity. It's your creative visibility. It's your oxygen. And how you become more of your expression. I mean, look at the room here that we have that best describes you, is to let yourself be seen in the messy middle. So just play and explore, and don't worry about being perfect. All right, so if you are a Virgo in the 5th house, then you're the artisan. And this is the picture of your creative room in your house, your art studio. So your light is craftsmanship, detail work, healing arts, editing, practical creativity. Your shadow is overthinking, feeling not ready, being too critical of yourself. Your subconscious belief is, I must improve before I can enjoy myself. So you have a really hard time with perfectionism. And then also your childlike essence is, you find joy, refinement, ritual, and mastery. Those are the things that you find joy in. And then your sun helps by balancing your mind with confidence. Your sun house shows where your skills want to be shared. And then your ruling planet is Mercury. So find where you have Mercury in your chart, what house and what zodiac. And this shows how you perfect and organize your creative flow. Now, how you become more of your expression is, let good enough be your gateway to joy. So good is good enough. If you get hung up on perfection, it is going to hold you back from your self-expression, because you're going to be comparing yourself and so worried about what other people think, or that you have to have everything in order, that you just won't start. All right, so if you're a Libra in the 5th house, you're the aesthetic creator, and this is your room. Look how beautiful this room is. Your light is beauty, harmony, design, social creativity, partnership based on art. Your shadow is fear of judgment, indecision, and people pleasing. And your subconscious belief is, if others don't approve, it's wrong. So that is hard, because, it's like you want things to feel beautiful. And if you are so harsh on yourself with your self-expression, and if it being good enough, you're going to hold yourself back from your beautiful expression. So your childlike essence is, you create to connect and beautify. So you're the beautifully minded with the 5th house Libra. And then your sun sign helps by giving you autonomy and an authentic self-expression. Your sun house shows where you must express beauty and balance. So remember, take a look at those placements in your chart. Now, your ruling planet is Venus. So wherever you have Venus, what house you have it in, and what zodiac sign, it explains your aesthetic, your instincts, and your creative magnetism. And then how you're becoming more of your expression is to choose what delights you, not what pleases others. So if you find yourself that you've lost your self-expression because you're so worried about making other people happy, then you want to tap into that. If you are a Scorpio in the 5th house, you're the alchemist. And this is your studio. It's dark, moody. And here we have, your light is intensity, depth, transformation, psychological art, shadow work, taboo creativity. So your shadow is fear of exposure, secrecy, and fear of power. Your subconscious belief is if they see my darkness, they will leave. So there's an edgy part of you, but that edginess makes you mysterious. And if you hide from it and you try to fall into the good girl syndrome, people will know you're not being authentic because they read your energy. So your childlike essence is your joy. It's an emotional truth, depth, and rebirth. I mean, after all, the eighth house is about transformation, death, and rebirth. So your sun helps by showing you your resilience and your magnetism. Your sun house reveals where your power wants expression. So find where you have your sun sign, house, and zodiac to find more about that. And then also your ruling planet is Pluto. So find Pluto in your chart where, hey, what zodiac and what house to find out more about how you transform. It shows your transformation and your creative force. So how you're becoming more of your expression. I mean, look at the room. The room is like giving you the moment to be secret, to have privacy, to go into the depths of your soul, is to share what's raw and not what's pretty. I mean, if you looked at Libra's creative expression in their room, it's very light, airy, and beautiful. Yours is dark and mysterious. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be like Libra. You are you. You're authentic. If you are a Sagittarius in the fifth house, you're the wild storyteller. And this right here is your creative art studio. Your light is adventure, humor, travel, inspired art, teaching, philosophy, and creative exploration. Your shadow is avoidance of commitment and fear of limitation. Your subconscious belief is if I commit, I'll lose my freedom. And your childlike essence is joy through discovery, storytelling, and expansion. Your sun helps when you find your sun sign in your chart and you find what house it's in and what zodiac sign. What that helps is grounding your wisdom into something shareable. Your sun house shows where you must inspire others. And then your ruling planet is Jupiter. So find where you have Jupiter in your natal chart, what house and what zodiac sign. And this shows how your creativity expands and inspires. And then how you're becoming more of your expression is to let your passion roam, but finish what excites you. So you are the truth seeker. You're the adventure seeker. You like to go on trips. So through travel, you find your expression. Through being around other cultures and experiencing different lifestyles, you find your creative expression. Now, if you are a Capricorn in the fifth house, you're the builder artist, and this is your creative art studio. I mean, look at there's woodwork happening. It's solid. You're building, right? So your light is legacy-based creativity, mastery, ambition, structure, and disciplined art. Your shadow is feeling undeserving of play and attaching productivity to worth. So you could be a little bit of a workaholic there. Your subconscious belief is I have to earn joy. So you just can't play for the fun of it. You think that everything is wrapped up in how much money you can make. So finding your passion could be your purpose through your passion can be difficult for you. Your childlike essence is that you create through discipline, structure, and long-term vision. So you have to have that creative plan. But learn to just let go a little bit. Don't be so intense about your passion project. And then your sun sign helps you by softening your self-judgment. Your sun house shows where your ambition becomes art. So take a look where you have your sun sign, what zodiac sign, and what house. And then your ruling planet is Saturn. That's why you have that father, stern, disciplinary energy. And you want to find where you have Saturn in your chart, what sign in what house. This shows where you build your creative legacy. And then how you're becoming more of your expression is play without purpose. Let joy be the foundation, not the reward. You've got to learn how to let go, let your hair down, and have some fun. Not everything needs to be work related. Stop being a workaholic or always talking about work. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the 12 zodiac signs here. So if you are an Aquarius in the 5th house, I totally relate to Aquarius because that is my rising sign. But you're the eccentric innovator. And so your art studio looks like this. You want mixed mediums. You don't want it to be predictable. It's an exploration of who you are. It's play and technology. So your light, look at this image. Your light is unique ideas, futuristic creativity, digital arts, rebellion, originality, humanitarian art. But your shadow is feeling misunderstood, detachment, and fear of true authenticity because Aquariuses get a bad rap about being weird. I mean, me showing up here talking about astrology and using interior design is outside of the box, right? And I could have kept it to myself and my vision, or I could have taken a chance. And whether it's not conventional or it's unpredictable, or I get pushback because how I'm mixing both, um, I had to let go of that fear, right? And just show up authentically. And that's how I see it. And that's how I want to talk about it. And that's what you need to adopt, giving yourself the freedom for your self expression because you don't have to be understood all of the time. So your subconscious belief is no one will get me. And sometimes because your innovative ideas are so deep and you can see the full vision in your head because you're a visionary in the way that you express yourself, it's hard for you to explain your vision. So your childlike essence is joy through innovation, weirdness, experimentation, and community. So let go of the idea that you need to conform or you need to fit in because that is going to strangle your freedom, your freedom for creative expression and just being authentic. And your sun helps by your sun sign will help because once you find where your sun is and what zodiac sign and what house it's in, it gives you the permission to stand apart, stand out. Your sun house shows where your originality must shine. So, for instance, I am an Aquarius rising. My sun is in Leo. And where I shine is on stage. I get to choose the stage that I want. And this happens to be in video on YouTube. Your ruling planet is Uranus, and Saturn is your co ruler. So, take a look where you have both of those in your chart, what zodiac sign, and what house they're in, because that's going to show you. It's going to reveal your radical creative power. And then how you're becoming more of your expression is to lead with your oddness. That's your genius. You're a unicorn, so stop fighting it. So if you have Pisces in the 5th house, you are a dream creator. And so this is what your art studio would look like. It's about imagination, music, film, fantasy, spirituality, channeling, dreamlike creativity. Your shadow, though, is escapism, sensitivity, and self doubt. Your subconscious belief is my dreams are unrealistic because when you have these fantasy type visions, you will get pushback where people call you a dreamer and it's being unrealistic. So you push down that creative side, but know that that is your gift. That is your superpower. So find where your sun sign is and what house and zodiac sign, because this is going to give form to your visions. It will show where you have sun, where your sun house shows where your compassion must be expressed. And then also your ruling planet is Neptune and Jupiter is the co-ruling planet. So look where you have those planets in your natal chart, what zodiac sign and what house. This will show you your divine creative frequency. And then how you become more of your expression. I mean, look at the room. It's very dreamlike. There's a place to play music. There's a place to draw. It's just through exploration of tapping into the spirit, your creative flow. So let your imagination lead. Logic can come later. So if you're trying to figure out the plan and strategy before you step into the creative expression, you're going to get stuck. It's about the fluidity of flow. Just think of water. You don't want to contain it. There will be a time to contain it, but right now you're just letting it spill out everywhere so that you can tap into your passions. And so, remember that the fifth house is your natural joy, your inner child's play, and the part of you that remembers. You were born creative, you were born expressive, you were born to enjoy. Purpose is not something you chase, purpose is what rises when you follow your passion. So now I want to get into the neuroplasticity of it all, because your creative expression is what leads you to figuring out your purpose, but not monetarily. Like, get the money out. If it's meant to be monetized, all the opportunities will show up when they're supposed to. So one of the things you want to rewire in your brain is that it's not worth your time to play, because when we took on responsibility, we told ourselves that it was immature to play, that we don't have time to play, that we have more important things. We've got to be disciplined, we've got to have responsible things. And so it's like, even when you tell somebody that you're going to major in art and they're like, good luck, or the saying, starving artist. So it's like art, your artistic expression, already you're fighting against these societal beliefs around it. So you have to reprogram your mind in believing that this is just an expression of you. You are tapping into the spiritual essence, your childlike essence, the person you were before the world told you who to be. So when you have any of those limiting beliefs coming up, you want to catch them and you want to replace it with something that is more positive. Like, it's okay to express myself. I'm tapping in and I'm nurturing my inner child. I'm not going to abandon her anymore. And so you're going to do things. You're going to set in order to rewire your brain, set aside, even if it's just 5, 10, 15 minutes, to do something creative. Start little until you start finding your joy again. And if any of those negative things pop in your head, that you're not creative, you're not good at this, oh, you just need to give it up, go back to this video and see your artistic expression, what you need to do to tap into it. Like I said, even like in Aries has to exercise and burn their energy out to tap into the inspiration. They have to move their body. So if you're trying to be creative and you're forcing yourself to sit still, you're going to feel stagnant. Go move your body, go play, go dance, go sweat it out, and it'll come in. So like I said, this is all about rewiring your brain in order for you to create new neurons and stop doing what comes as a habit, what is predictable, what you've learned behavior, what you picked up, what limiting subconscious beliefs you've picked up that's holding you back from your expression, your self-expression, because your childlike essence brings you more joy. So when you tap into it and you feel good, that is a clue that your spirit is feeling expansive, and that is through your self-expression and exploring those aspects of yourself. So if you enjoyed this episode of the fifth house in House of Worth, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, give me a like. Don't forget to put down your rising sign, your Venus placement, and I might choose you to go into a deep dive about your creative expression and how you can get the most of knowing this. And on the next episode, we will be going into the sixth house. And the sixth house is how you came here to serve. It is also about your health, your body, your rituals, your daily habits, how you work with coworkers, even pets. But this is more about your self-worth. So I'm going to be tapping into more about you, not everything in the house. Just like we are talking about self-expression, even though it's about children and romance, we're talking about you and getting back to your self-worth and being more of you, finding your authentic self. So the sixth house will be exploring more of that. And the room of choice for the sixth house is the kitchen. So if you love a beautiful kitchen, make sure that you tune in for the next episode. And I'll see you next time.